So a lot of people have asked me, what does it feel like when you are told that you need to be admitted to a mental hospital? And I'll be completely honest with you, it depends on where you are in your journey with mental health. When I was first admitted to a mental hospital, I didn't really think it was gonna be as, let's just say, traumatic as it was in reality. Um, Speaking about reality, I should explain why I was admitted. I have a psychotic disorder, which causes me to have a break from reality, in which I sometimes believe things that aren't based in reality, and sometimes I experience things, sensory input that isn't based in reality. That is why I was admitted to the mental hospital. And when I was first told, I had a very positive outlook. I was like, okay, this is the first time I've heard about mental hospitals being a thing in modern day, and it's something that I felt like, oh, it's not going to be like in the past where there were padded rooms and you lock you up and they have people screaming bloody murder from the other rooms. But it was similar to that. And I think that made me so cautious of being readmitted for my second and third time. I felt like I didn't want to go through all that again. But the first time I was admitted, I was pretty positive. I was like, okay, my doctor described this as, oh, you're going to be in there for a couple days, maybe 3 days. They're going to assess you. You're going to be under intensive treatment, and you're going to learn a lot more than what you could learn from me in a 1 hour session every couple weeks. You could learn a lot more in a mental hospital rather than seeing your psychiatrist a couple weeks and talking with her for an hour max. And so I was admitted, and it's a story we all know about. It's a story we all know and love. It's a story about how I was in a padded room for over 20 hours while other patients screamed and bashed on the walls, told me to shut up, asked me personal information, tried fighting security, and it generally wasn't a fun time. And then I was discharged to a different hospital where I stayed for a total of 7 days, and that was fine. That wasn't as bad. If anything, it was a bit boring, because we had a lot of free time, and I'm not a fan of free time. No, that's not a good way of putting it. I'm not a fan of free time when video games are involved, because I'm not a gamer at all. I find that I'd rather be drawing than playing a video game. And it's not like we didn't have those options. It's just that it was a much more easier thing to do. Because when you have to ask for like a pencil, they take a specific pencil off of a specific jar and they write it down on a list. Like you have pencil A or pencil B or pencil C or pencil D, and they give it to you, and you have to do it in front of one of the nurses or in front of one of the PAs, psychiatric assistants, and they have to watch you use the pencil just in case you don't hurt yourself. I was gonna say kill yourself, but that's gonna be a bit hard with a pencil, especially with the pencils that they gave us, because they were tiny and they were not sharp at all. It was kind of annoying, like trying to draw with a dull tiny pencil. But you gotta understand, like, some kids are genuinely try to kill themselves with a pencil. It doesn't even matter if it is effective or not. They would genuinely try. And if a patient, I was gonna say a sister, but if a patient is genuinely thinking about hurting themselves, that's all the more reason to put them in one of those padded rooms where they can't hurt themselves. And it's a very sad thing to think about. It's a very stressful thing, and for me it was a very traumatic thing, but that's just part of the process. And you can't have any exceptions. You can't just be like, oh, this patient is cooperative, so I'm not gonna throw him in the padded room. It wasn't like that. I was very cooperative. I would always follow directions. I would always do everything I could to show that I was a good person and not one of the people who are screaming bloody murder, get me out of the damn hospital. I wanted to show that I'm cooperative. I wanted to show that I'm willing to do the treatment, and I was still put in one of those padded rooms for a long time. It's just part of the process. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad or somewhere in the middle, like we all are. We're all somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter. Rules are rules, and we have to abide by them, especially when people's lives are at stake. So after that experience, I was put in the state of mind where I was like, okay, Those 7 days were fine, but those 20 plus hours that I spent locked in a padded room, I don't want to experience that again. I don't want to. So I'm gonna fight this second hospitalization. I'm gonna fight against my therapist and my psychiatrist against the second hospitalization. And it was a pretty stupid reason. See, I experience psychotic symptoms pretty commonly. I mean, I haven't gone a day without experiencing psychotic symptoms ever since being on medication. I figure that it's the medication in general that makes it a lot better, a lot more easier to deal with as well, but it doesn't take it completely away. When it came to being in my second hospitalization, my therapist thought that, oh, he's experiencing psychotic symptoms, hospital, yes, hospital, go right away, hospital. And that legitimately kind of pissed me off because I felt like I didn't need to. And being told for the third time that I need to be in a mental hospital, ugh, even more so pissed me off. I didn't want to go through any of that again, but I did, and now I know what to expect, and now I know to be a little bit more cautious with telling my doctors about my condition, because I feel like if I make it a big over dramatic deal, then they're gonna respond in a big over dramatic deal, and that's just something that I don't want. So I'll just try to be as calm, precise, but truthful as I can, if that makes any sense. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about being in a mental hospital. I know it's a bit of a strange topic to talk about, especially when you're living in a world where you are not in the hospital, because it's a very different experience. It's a very different feeling from being in the mental hospital and being out of the mental hospital. So for some people it's good, for some people it's bad. For me it's gray, it's in the middle. And if you're in an emergency, I have emergency links down below, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, I got a ring. That's so cool.